There was a time in my life, right around the time when I first started watching anime, when all the big swords, long arms, and ear-piercing screams were all the rage, and I sat my bony ass down 2 inches from the TV screen, even after my mom told me that I could go blind if I did that, and I took it all in. Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, any mainstream show you could think of, I would always watch it every Saturday night on Toonami. That was my time. I could not be bothered by anything in the world, and I would lock the door just so I could be as antisocial as I wanted to be with no other outside noise to disturb me. Nothing. 2012 was a different time when I was surrounded by nothing but action adventure anime. I was only 10 years old, could you blame me? But then I thought to myself, there has to be some anime that isn't just nuts to butts and busting nuts action and fights, right? Surely it'd be like looking into a black hole just to see nothing there. That was until I saw... This was me stepping out of my comfort zone, venturing into the great beyond, reaching into the depths I never would have thought possible about myself. This was the equivalent of opening Pandora's box. And what did I think about the show? That's pretty good. But what it did show me is that the other genres of anime had so much more hidden potential underneath the surface. You try watching Summertime Rendering and tell me that it isn't one of the best mysteries in recent memory. You try watching Oshinoko and tell me it isn't one of the best dramas of the past decade. Kaguya-sama with romance, Kobayashi's Dragon Maid with slice of life, Bocchi the Rock with music, Nichijou with comedy. There is always a subjective king for its respective genre, and when you watch that peak, it changes a man. You start to want to guide your morals around the protagonist, you get immersed in their story, you're invested in their progression. That's what makes a show special for someone. You get that kind of show once every few years if you're lucky. This season, Spring 2024, has 2 such shows. These shows, in my honest to God opinion, are special. The first show has more main character gremlin energy than Gollum in The Lord of the Rings. Girls Band Cry is a music anime centered around 5 band members who go through struggles forming a band, trying to stay together, and finding their own dedication to the craft. But before I talk about the characters and what makes the show so good, I want to comment on the elephant in the room. I understand people hate seeing CG and 3D stuff in anime and get all pissed in the Twitter comments any chance they get. But I'm telling you, Girls Band Cry looks absolutely stellar. Given CGI's track record over the years, this show has, in my opinion, become the poster child to how innovative and impactful it can be in a medium like anime. It uses techniques never before seen and executes them on the highest level. Mixing 2D with 3D without making it seem overkill in either way is genius on the director. And the biggest surprise with this is the studio behind it all. If you had told 11-year-old me that the studio behind the creation of Dragon Ball and One Piece was the same studio that created Girls Band Cry, I'd scoff at you. I'd put my pointer finger at you and say, I would not believe you for even the slightest second. But it's true. Toei Animation has changed the game here. In fact, in addition to their already incredible legacy of what they produce, they can add on to their resume of being among the best of the best in 3D along with Studio Orange. Their work with this show, along with the latest Dragon Ball movie, just goes to show that 3D animation is only going to get better and better, and I'm all here for it. Because of it, the characters in Girls Band Cry are so much more expressive, and their movements are so fluid and buttery smooth. Outside of the animation, the 5 members all have great backstory and clearly defined motivations, making it easy to root for them. Nina dropped out of high school and wants to show her parents that she can make it in the concrete jungle that is Tokyo. Momoka wants to stick it to her old music group, Diamond Dust, who Nina actually idolizes and cherishes, funny enough. Subaru wants to show her grandmother that music is the right choice for her, and Tomo and Rupa want to take their own music to the next level. But what keeps this show engaging is that these characters are flawed and well written. Nina wants to show Momoka that going professional isn't the end of the world and that they could still be free to make anything they want and how they want it. Whereas Momoka thinks that they'll lose that freedom if they do so. They clash over ideals, they fight a lot, almost with their fists at a point, and they are steadfast, even stubborn to a point, believing themselves to be right in their own way. To Momoka, music is all she has, and feeling like her music is losing flavor and freedom with the more popular a band gets is a very understandable sentiment. She's afraid of losing that passion, and damn it, I'm afraid for her as well. It's what you see with IRL record labels today and the need to keep your creative control. With Nina, she uses the music that Momoka made with Diamond Dust as a way to keep going and be free from her past troubles. She was relentlessly bullied in school, and the school plus her family, in Nina's eyes, didn't take her side, leading her to run away in the first place. This show really hits on its drama aspects, and all it makes you want to do is just hope and pray for the band to stay together. Also, can we talk about the show's soundtrack real quick? I've listened to this whole soundtrack front to back at least like 6 or 7 times now, and I have some opinions to say. First and foremost, it's fire. Second of all, I actually have a hot take here. So if you want to shit on me, do it in the comments. I read all of them and I appreciate every one. And while you're at it, go sub to the channel as well. Helps me out and stuff. Okay, you ready? Here's my hot take. The soundtrack to Girls Band Cry rivals that of Bocchi the Rock. Now, I'm not saying to take my word as gospel, but I am saying this soundtrack's high points are just as high on certain tracks, as well as a comparative floor if we're taking the two soundtracks and putting them side by side. This music fucking slaps, and you can't tell me otherwise. Also, for the people who have watched the show, have you heard the full version of the ED? Oh my god, it's beautiful. That shit was so majestic, it made me want to start doing ballet in the middle of a busy highway. By far my favorite song of the show, with the OP not too far behind. I guess what I'm saying is that I really want you to watch this show so that you can see what I see. The only downside I can really understand is something that's out of the show's control, and that whoever did the translations early on in the show must have been on something, because even though I don't speak Japanese or even understand it most of the time, I know what some words are supposed to sound like and what they mean, and whole outright phrases were being bungled by the translation team. They have been better in the latter half of the season, thankfully, but it's still frustrating considering that it can take you out of some of the most impactful moments of the show. Nevertheless, watch this show. Thank me later. Also, Subaru Best Girl. The second show that I wanted to talk about actually is my anime of the season, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, where it follows 4 high schoolers who start their own music group and make it their main goal to reach 100,000 followers. Something I want one day. I'm just going to shorten calling Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night to just Jellyfish, just for purposes. Jellyfish is a masterclass in direction, especially in the first episode. The director of the show, Ryuhei Takeshita, takes all of his experience from past roles on other shows and uses it to make an incredibly well done first episode. The way the show uses flashbacks to contrast the main character's past life as someone who's so proud of her jellyfish mural only for her to develop traumas when her friends insult it and trash it, to someone who's searching for a way to heal from that trauma and grow to love herself and her art is nothing short of beautiful. Not to mention, it makes such good work contrasting Mahiru's reserved and more or less normal personality to Kano's outgoing, carefree, happy-go-lucky personality. Like Girls Band Cry, Jellyfish has elements that make you want to go after whatever you're missing in life and motivates you to do better things. It's a journey where self-worth is everything, and discovery of that self-worth will help you lead to happiness and more motivation than you will ever know. How do I know that? Because it happened to me. Every episode I watch has motivated me more and more to keep writing scripts for YouTube videos, wanting to stream more on Twitch, more on that later, helping me finish my first ever light novel, and getting back to making the music that I've loved ever since I was a kid. Every character here has a role to play in the group and outside of it. Mei helps with the melodies on the piano and keyboard, and Kiwi is the foundation of the music, not to mention a popular as hell VTuber, making it beneficial for the group as a whole. Kano is the singer and the face of Jelly, and Mahiru is the artist bringing it all together. Jelly is the definition of a family away from a family, and this group is tight-knit, even when it seems things that can go wrong do go wrong. And when it comes to certain families, specifically referring to Kano's mother, she's not even there at all, making Kano have to fight for herself and her own sake. In fact, her mother not being there forces Kano to go against her and face her at her own game. There's a whole plot device involving a conspiracy to take down other idol groups, considering Kano at one point was in her own mother's group herself, and how it all devolves into an absolute mess where there's nothing but dysfunction, hatred, and outright jealousy. I'm not going to pretend like I'm doing this any justice, but trust me when I say that it's extremely compelling and makes you want to keep watching as to find out what happens next. Its animation quality is beautiful, and its character design is very broad and appealing. This show is bright and cheerful when it wants to be, and dark and depressing when the mood calls for it. The soundtrack accompanies each setting very well, and also does something not seen since Chainsaw Man, where it uses multiple animated songs within EDs. It's just a fun show that grips you to the edge of your seat. And I won't spoil, but there's one scene that absolutely destroyed me, especially considering all of the backstory told with all of the main characters and what it took for them to get to where they are at that point. Just an incredible 10 out of 10 scene. There's so many other things about this show that I could harp on and elaborate on, but if I were to do that, then this video would be at least an hour long, and I don't have the budget to pay my editor to do that. But from front to back, this show is stunning, gripping, and can just show you the absolute height of potential a show like this can display. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. These two shows are honestly incredible in their own right, and as of right now, I currently have one of them in my running of my anime of the year selection, and both of them are currently in my top 10 of the year. I won't tell just yet, so you'll need to wait until the end of the year for you to find out which show is where. Go watch them. I guarantee you will see what I see and understand why I like these shows so much. Also, if I could just ask a question real quick, what the hell has been going on with the cute girls doing cute things genre? They've stepped up their game like crazy, and I'm all here for it. This season alone, we have these two shows, plus Train to the End of the World. Recently, we've had Bocchi the Rock and Do It Yourself, just to name a couple. There's definitely some sort of revolution somewhere in the anime industry, and it's right under our noses. Anyways, I stream on twitch.tv/IndicoKuma 3 to 4 times a week, so go check me out on there. I also post stream highlights onto my other channel, and that channel will be down in the description. I would love nothing more than to keep a consistent upload schedule for your guys' sake, but life and money just keep getting in the way, so I hope you guys can bear with me for the time being. Thank you for sticking to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.